One night, something truly shocking happened in the US Army. A soldier shot and killed another soldier, all because of a woman, his own wife. So this woman here, her name is Kamia Hassel, a young wife and a soldier in the US Army living in Georgia. From the outside, her life looked almost perfect. She was married to another soldier, Tyrone Hassel III, and together they seemed like a normal military couple. But behind the scenes, something very dark was beginning to unfold. Around 2017 to 2018, Kamia met another soldier named Jeremy Cuellar. Jeremy found Kamia very attractive, and before long the two of them started getting close. They would drop each other off at home, buy food for each other, and sometimes Jeremy would even fill up her car's fuel tank. But here's the shocking part. Jeremy was also married. What started as a simple friendship soon became something much deeper. Now fast forward to 2018, when Kamia and her husband Tyrone were deployed to South Korea for a 9-month assignment. And strangely enough, Jeremy was also deployed to South Korea. This meant he was now living on the same military base as Kamia and her husband. Back in South Korea, Jeremy and Kamia continued hanging out like they used to, but this time they started getting closer and closer. Soon enough, their relationship crossed the line. They began having an affair. They fell deeply involved with each other. Jeremy started showering her with gifts, money, and flowers. Meanwhile, Tyrone, Kamia's husband, had no idea what was going on behind his back. They were doing everything sneakily. But eventually, Tyrone began to notice something wasn't right. He realized that Kamia and Jeremy were spending way too much time together. The friendship didn't look normal anymore. So Tyrone confronted his wife. He told Kamia very clearly that he didn't want her hanging around Jeremy anymore and that she needed to stay away from him. But instead of ending the relationship, the opposite happened. Behind Tyrone's back, Kamia and Jeremy continued seeing each other secretly. Their relationship had grown much stronger, and they had now become emotionally and physically attached to each other. And as time passed, the situation started becoming more dangerous. According to investigators, the two of them began talking about a future together, a life where they could finally be together without hiding. But there was one major problem. Tyrone. As long as Tyrone was alive, their relationship could never truly exist in the open. And that's when things allegedly took a very dark turn. Instead of walking away from the marriage or ending the affair, prosecutors say Kamia and Jeremy started discussing something far more sinister. A plan that would eventually lead to one of the most shocking betrayal murders involving US soldiers. Fast forward to December 31st, 2018, New Year's Eve. Tyrone Hassel III had traveled to St. Joseph, Michigan, to spend time with his family while on leave from the military. Everything seemed normal that night. But what Tyrone didn't know was that someone had already been told exactly where he would be. Late that evening, Tyrone stepped outside his father's house, and within seconds, gunshots rang out. Tyrone Hassel III was shot multiple times and killed right outside his family home. At first, the murder shocked the entire community. Investigators were trying to figure out who would want the young soldier dead. But as detectives dug deeper into the case, the truth they uncovered was even more shocking, because the investigation eventually led them right back to Tyrone's own wife, Kamia Hassel. But in the end, the truth could not stay hidden forever. Investigators discovered messages, phone records, and evidence that revealed the shocking plot between Kamia Hassel and Jeremy Cuellar. What started as a secret affair had turned into a deadly conspiracy. In 2019, the case went to trial, and the courtroom heard the disturbing details of how a wife and her lover planned the murder of a man who trusted them the most. The jury didn't take long to reach a decision. Kamia Hassel was found guilty of first-degree premeditated murder and conspiracy to commit murder. She was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Jeremy Cuellar, the man who pulled the trigger, also faced justice and was sentenced to 65 to 90 years in prison. But the story didn't end there. Years later, Kamia tried to appeal her conviction, claiming she had been abused during the marriage and that her lawyers failed to defend her properly. However, the court rejected her appeal, meaning she will spend the rest of her life behind bars. In the end, what looked like a normal marriage turned into a tragic story of betrayal, greed, and deception. A loyal soldier lost his life. A family lost a son. And two people who thought they could get away with murder will now spend decades paying the price.